part about portfolios is that it provides a breadth of information that you can use to assess learning. What they did is I provided them with a template of what their portfolio would include. Then I provided them with a table of contents that they filled out that basically allowed them to develop their own fully developed document. At the beginning of the courses, I asked them to do an activity about initial habits of mind and identify some of the habits of mind that they use quite a bit or want to use quite a bit. And I asked them to define it in their own terms after providing some information about it, of course, and then come up with some visuals that help to represent their understanding of it. And then finally, to be able to talk about how these particular habits of mind were going to be evident, or reflective, or something they were going to have to work on for their own writing. And then they posted their first paper. A lot of people include all the development work that goes into it. I wanted some of the stuff that was not going to be evident elsewhere to be in here. After every assignment then, they did reflections, whereby they looked at what were the learning outcomes that were expected and how their work met those outcomes. So this was their own assessment of their own learning given the learning outcomes for the course. So there's rhetorical knowledge and critical thinking, composing process, and knowledge of conventions. Those were the main ones that are related to our industry standards and is what our Maricopa Community College's learning outcomes relate directly to. And then the same thing was true. I asked them to think about their habits of mind related to that particular assignment. So what exactly did they learn? How did they use engagement? How did they use persistence and so forth? And then this was the second assignment, informative essay and presentation. And here she's planning on being an attorney, so she wrote about courtroom attorneys. And then here was her final work. It was a blog. She did an argument about court-appointed attorneys versus attorneys that you can actually pay, and the difference between the two as far as efficacy and so forth. So the thing that I really liked about this kind of a structure and a portfolio is that I got to see how students were perceiving their own writing. So it was a bit of a self-assessment that I was then assessing. And then at the end, they did final comments. How did they sum up all of their work in the class? How did all of their processes and experiences work to help them to succeed with the assignments, and how they were going to continue to move forward with them, or with the skills, knowledge, and habits of mind that they were going to need as they move forward in their college careers and in their professional development. It takes quite a bit of time to develop and to provide feedback, but it's a very rich environment for assessing student learning.